Hello Year 6 and welcome to a new day's home learning. So this week we're looking all at measurement and we're looking at all different types of measurement. And yesterday, today and tomorrow we're going to be looking at this in particular, metric, the metric system. And that's looking at measurements that deal with, 1,000, 100, 10, all those big round numbers that end in zeros. So then let's look at some of these words down here. Well, milli is actually Latin for 1,000ths, 1 part out of 1,000. So milli is like thousands or 1,000th. So a millimetre is 1 part out of 1,000. Then we've got centi, and centi is 1 part out of 100. Remember when we looked at percent and we said that's parts out of 100? Well, centi and cent, very similar, and that's 100th. And then you got a kilo, which means 1,000. So this means 1,000th, like a fraction, 1,000th. And then 1,000 is kilo, it's 1,000. So then if we're looking at that, we know that a millimetre is the same as saying 1,000th of a metre. And it's 1 millimetre equals 1 out of 1,000th of a metre. A bit like 0.001 metre. And then a milliliter is the same as 1,000th of a litre. So it's the same as saying 1 milliliter is 1,000th of a litre. And 1 milliliter equals 0.001 litre. So knowing that, what we want to have a look at is actually, if I'm converting millimetres to metres, I'm either going to times by 1,000 or I'm going to divide by 1,000. And the same from millilitres to litres. We can see a very common link here. And we could even do the same for grams. We could say grams to kilograms. It's going to times by 1,000 or divide by 1,000. So today, if we're working these out, we know that 2 millimetres is going to equal what in metres? Well, I'm going to have to do 2 divided by 1,000. And working that out, how many places am I going to move on my place value grid? Well, I know when I divide by 1,000, I'm going to move 3 places. So I'm going to move from my ones to my tenths to my hundredths to my thousands. So it's going to be 0.002. And then here, how many millimetres do you think are going to equal 2 metres? Well, we know that actually, to get from 1 millimetre to 1 metre, I need to times by 1,000. So 2 metres are going to be 2 times 1,000 is going to equal 2,000 millimetres. 2 times 1,000. 2,000 millimetres. So then what do you reckon 0.5 metres would be? Well, it's going to be half a metre, isn't it? Half a metre, and that's going to be, well, actually, what's halfway between 1 and 1,000? Well, we know halfway between 1 and 1,000 is going to be 500, so it's going to be 500 millimetres. Let's look at my next question then. Here, to get to centimetres, I know that actually there are 10 millimetres in a centimetre. So here, if I want to get from a metre to a millimetre, I'd divide by 1,000. If I wanted to get to a centimetre, I'd only divide by 100. And if I wanted to get from a millimetre to a centimetre, I'd times by 10. If I wanted to get to a millimetre to a metre, I'd times by 1,000. If I wanted to get from a centimetre to a metre, I'd times by 100. So you can see how many you have to times by there. If we're then trying to work it out, how many centimetres are there in a metre? Well, I know that to get from 3 metres to how many centimetres, I need to times by 100. So I need to do 3 times 100. And 3 times 100 is 3 100. And I think we already knew that, didn't we? To get from 305, or let's, yeah, to get from 305 centimetres to metres, I have to divide by 100. So let's do that. 305 divide by 100 is going to be equal 3.05, because I've moved 3 places to the right on a place value grid, haven't I? And then 2 litres. Well, I know that 2 litres, to get to millilitres, what do I need to do? I need to, times by 1,000. So 2 times 1,000 to get to millilitres is going to equal 2,000 millilitres. And then here, centilitres. So how many centilitres equals 0.35? Well, I know that if I'm at centilitres, if I've got 0.35 and I have to, if I'm at 0.35 and I have to get to centilitres, I have to times by 100. So 0.35 times by 100 is going to equal 35, because I've done, as a calculation, 0.35 times 100. And I know I have to move 2 places to the left on a place value grid. So today we've got to use this knowledge that we've got here to help us work out the answers. It might be worth saying that to get from millimetres to centimetres, you have to divide by 10. To get from centimetres to metres, you have to divide by 100. Or to get from metres to centimetres, you have to times by 100. And to get from centimetres to millimetres, you're going to have to times by 10. So you might want to copy down these tables here. This is for capacity and millilitres and litres and centilitres. And this is for length, millimetres, centimetres and metres. Finally, let's do this last question. A large car might have a mass of around 2 tonnes. And 1 tonne is 1,000 kilograms. Okay? So we need to remember that for when we do a question like this. Your question might say something like this. A large car has a mass of 3,000 kilograms. What does that equal in tonnes? Well, we know that 1 tonne is 1,000 kilograms, so I'm going to have to divide my 3,000 by 1,000. 3,000 divided by 1,000 equals 3, doesn't it? Because we know 3 lots of 1,000 equals 3,000. Okay, go away, complete the questions on the sheet. Remember to use these tables to help you. That will help you. So I'm going to leave that one up, and you might want to pause it now and quickly copy those 2 up before you go away and do the sheet. Good luck.